What's the score of that Yankees game right now?
5-2. And make that 6-2.
Let's go. Dong?
No, Donaldson RBI single.
He's gonna turn out to be a solid pickup.
Yeah, alright. He's alright. This is the Orioles regress all the way down. Although I'll say this, they had 5 runs off the starter and they were all unearned. He had like a unicorn stat line that no one else ever had ever. And there's been a lot of ever. And now they're gonna bring in Paul Fry.
What inning is it?
7. Nice little sweep for the boys. Oh, maybe I should get the spreadsheet open.
I thought that's what you were doing.
No, I did. I mean, I did all the projections, but then I restarted my computer.
Okay.
Anytime I edit videos, I always want to restart. I took 2 ibuprofen. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, you should be good halfway through the show.
Maybe. It's that broken sleep, man. I got up at 6 to edit. Took a 2-hour nap. Got up to do baseball real quick. Took another 2-hour nap with the, and then the baseball game. I don't know. It's broken sleep.
That's rough, man. It's power naps. Yeah, I got the video to you pretty late because I've been swamped with work too. I got a big deadline on Monday, so I'm super stressed about that.
Ooh, a science deadline?
Yeah, I got to give a presentation. It's never fun.
Just make a video. I'll edit it.
Yeah.
What happens to this lab rat when you?
Yeah, instead of giving you a live presentation, I'm gonna give you a pre-recorded, gun-edited video. Trust me, it's gonna be a banger. Fire.
Last week we put liquid glue on a bee, and it died. RC Step Brothers, prestige worldwide. Last week we put. Oh man.
Hey, speaking of bees, you see Gobert got stung?
I did. That was an incredible segue, by the way. We did not plan that. Yeah. That was amazing. Was it stung on his face? Because it was a picture. How do you get stung on the face? I've on the eye, on the face.
It looks like his eye. Yeah.
How? Like, how do you
I don't know.
Was he sleeping? Like,
I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, it's face swelled up. But I mean, you can easily reduce the swelling with Benadryl or some type of steroid, but the Benadryl is gonna make you sleepy, real tired.
So what you're saying is unders and white side and
yeah.
Anyway, hey, we are live on the YouTube. What's up, chat? Happy Thursday, lazy Thursday, but we're almost to Friday. But we do got 3 games of NBA on the docket tonight. It is it is hopefully going to be a fun one. Yesterday was essentially what we thought it was. I will say, I don't know why I do this all the time, but I always I don't say underestimate Jokic, but I just forget that he is just an animal. Like he was, he was. It was him versus the Warriors, man, and he was making it closer than I thought it would have been at that juncture in the game.
He had me closer to the bridge.
It's just he was so much fun to watch. Did you see that no look bounce pass to Aaron Gordon?
Oh yeah. That was sick, dude.
When he did that,
I was watching. When I can't go to the game or I'm not at a bar, restaurant with friends, and I watch it at home, I'm blacked out, so I have to watch the TNT the backboard camera view. So I had the behind camera
crazy.
View on the opposite backboard, and it was
wait, you can't watch it on TNT?
I know I get blacked out. Well, I don't
Oh,
have
okay, okay. So that's, yeah,
cable or
yeah.
anything like that. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna tell me that you had to watch it on Oculus, and then I would have been like, "That's cool, actually."
I mean, it's still a sick view though when you have those backboard camera views, because you can see how a play develops. You see the whole, the whole court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a sick pass, dude. That was real sick.
But when it happened, I screamed. I was like, "Oh my god, what a pass!" And then it for nothing. It was just like that might be one of the best moves that just never get. It's gonna be forgotten about. And then I started thinking, it's like, man, if we could share almost dunks the way we do, we should be able to share almost Jokic assists. And
Yeah.
thankfully, when I got on Twitter that night, there was a lot of people sharing that. So kudos to Jokic. He's gonna get paid. What up to the live chat?
Yeah. I mean, Luka does it. He has the same. He does the same kind of crazy passes too.
Yeah.
For sure.
James Sawyer says, thanks for the heads up on DeRozan and Vucevic boards. I'll be back when it starts. Let's go. What up, Sebastian? What up, Maka? I'm going to win the draft contest. Man, I started researching the draft thing yesterday. I probably put an hour and a half into it, and I got through 5 questions. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So then I just started looking at a bunch of different draft boards, and I was like, okay, this is also ridiculous because it's all contradictory. And then I think, like, the general consensus is there's going to be a bunch of trades during the draft, so it's all going to, like, the research is almost for naught. So I ended up just looking at my boy Nick's draft board and just kind of copied what he did. I posted what I'm running in the free Discord. Like, I mean, if you got nothing, there is a little research behind what I did, but it's also, the likelihood of anyone hitting 16 to 16 is just like a March Madness bracket. It's going to be really, really really tough. But if you're not sure what we're talking about, there's a link to this contest on the PrizePicks channel in the free Discord, which is linked below. And then, like I said, I've shared mine, but also other people shared their answers. So don't tell mine because I'm not some college draft expert. I'll play. I do my NFL DFS, but I don't know draft. I don't know. But you might as well get something in there, right? You never know.
Yeah. Is it just? Are you limited to one entry per account?
Just one, and if you do two, they throw it all out. So make sure just one. And so actually, I didn't even mean to enter mine. When I hit enter, it was like, "Are you sure you can't go back?" And I was like, "All right, nah, maybe not." And then I got an email that said I entered anyway, and I was like, "Oh well fudge." So I'm not even gonna mess with it. We're just gonna let it happen. What up, Sway? What up, underrated world? What up, Doug? Says, I haven't been around for a couple weeks. I can't use PrizePicks, but figured I would tune in anyway. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Doug. I hope you've been crushing it in the DFS streets. Come see me for baseball, man. What up, Chris? What up, MV? All aboard the Jordan Clarkson train. Let's go. Got 4th place in the 4-point play yesterday. Let's go. Shout out to Mia Moore, Skimmer in the chat, to Kiefer in the chat. Call me Nighthawk. Call me Nighthawk. You have to call me Dragon. We put liquid glue on a B. Oh man, what a good movie! I feel like I have to watch that movie once or twice a year. Maybe that'll. I'm in a bad mood. Maybe I'll watch
that movie in Talladega Nights.
Talladega's alright, but I quote Step Brothers so much that I don't know. It's one of those movies that I would just quote the entire time it's on. It's such a good one. For sure. I hate watching the draft. I don't watch the draft either. I like watching the draft like in you ever seen the videos where everyone that's at the draft or fake excited to watch the draft pretend like they know all these players and they really don't. And there's like, I don't know, like Jimmy Kimmel will send a reporter and he'll ask about completely made up names and then people just try to pretend like they know. It's like, yeah, I think he's all right, but I like this guy better. It's like I can't keep tabs on them all, but man, kudos to you guys that do. What up, blah? I don't know. I shared my answers. I certainly wouldn't trust them. Same, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're watching and you are only basketball, maybe you're baseball, you have no idea what college is or what the draft is. You don't know anything about it. Something's better than nothing, right? Might as well put something in there. And if a couple of cats in the chat are sharing what they're doing, maybe give and take some stuff. That's why I shared mine. It's just like just in case. Like I said, I don't and no one's gonna win this thing. 16 out of 16. That's ridiculous. But you might as well get something in there. And I know some of you guys were having trouble finding a link to get it entered, so we put that link in the Discord as well. What up, Swat? Can you ask Josh what goes first, milk or cereal? It better be cereal.
Yeah.
Awkward silence indicates not sure.
No,
Okay.
for sure, cereal. Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah. No, I guess that's one of those. Maybe they're asking smart people what they do first. It's always cereal first. Always. Because if you don't, then it starts floating, and it's just weird.
Ah.
Yeah. The NFL draft is dope. The backstories make it enjoyable. Oh, yeah. Everyone in the draft, they either have parents in jail, they have a crack addiction that they overcame, they raised their two younger brothers and sisters, their grandma died but came back to life, but now they're blind. Like, the sob stories of everyone in the draft, and the ESPN goes straight to those, man. It's tough, but I usually watch for the first couple picks, but I've grown out of love with the game, especially with any particular team fandom, that I just don't sweat it. But I never really watched it when I was a diehard. Tried my first golf tournament, took a low on Zimmer. He went off. I don't know what kind of psychopath put milks for. I don't know, Tom. Geniuses are just different. Questions you need to ask. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what. Josh, what's the weirdest quirk about you that triggers everyone else on the planet?
Probably that I eat like raw ghost peppers and like all the hottest peppers, scorpion peppers, Carolina Reapers.
Just like as a snack? I know you were telling me you grow that crap.
Yeah, I grow it in my backyard. Yeah, I mean, I'm addicted to peppers. I love the taste, man.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love pain. I mean, that's why I gamble, right?
Yeah. Yep. It did not disappoint. So, are you like, if I were to one chip challenge you, would you just like no sell it?
Oh yeah, that'd be easy, 100%.
Bro, Josh is sick. Josh is actually sick.
It's weird, man. I have this like craving for peppers. I can't explain it.
Did you hear shit my money? He eats cereal with a glass of milk on the side. I feel like I don't believe that. I feel like that's something Adam would say to troll. I don't think there's no way he does that. There's no way. But you know what there is a way that there's some playoff basketball tonight, and we should probably talk about it. The Toronto Raptors host the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers going into Toronto, so they're going to be without Matisse Thybulle, ineligible for vaccination rules. We're still looking at Joel Embiid, his busted thumb. They said he's going to need surgery on the other side of the postseason, whenever that is. And on the Raptors side, Van Vliet, doubtful but not ruled out. Could play, but probably won't. So keep an eye on that. We do have a 209.5 total and a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers and Doc Rivers. Austin! Joel! I don't want to pull 3-1 or 3-0. Win this game, god dang it!
On point, man. On point.
Josh! Stop eating ghost peppers! Give me the best plays! Do I take James Harden?
That deserves some thumbs up right there, man.
Doesn't it?
That's gold content.
All right. So let's look at the prop board for this one. Joel Embiid listed at 44 fantasy points. James Harden's listed at 2 threes, 34.5 PRA, 7 free throws, 42 fantasy points. They have a double-double prop for James Harden. However, his rebounds are low and his assists are at 9. So it would be kind of dumb to bet the double-double and not just take the assists, unless you think he's – yeah. Tobias Harris is listed at 32 fantasy points. I know that's something that you said that you were digging this morning. And then Danny Green and Gorgeous Niang, we talked about how it's not a massive boost for minutes, but it is still a couple of minutes that need to be made up for. And that's Matisse Thybulle Might be 9 to 15 minutes that they need to replace here. So looking at the last game in Toronto, the two guys I want to keep an eye on is Thibault to Nyang. So last game in Toronto, we saw Thibault play. We didn't see because I'm an idiot. We saw Gorgeous Nyang play 22 minutes, and then the last game at home, Nyang went down to 13 minutes, while Thibault played 14 minutes, and then that was pretty consistent with what we saw in the first game in Philly. Nyang played 9 minutes, Thibault played 10 minutes. So maybe there's a slight boost to Gorgeous Nyang to get behind some of those props. Josh, we still got the Embiid injury. We got the clutch factor for James Harden. The Sixers just need to win. Just win one. What are you digging, if anything, on the 76er side for the props?
Yeah, man, it's tough. Like, don't you just get like the vibes of like Doc Rivers? I mean, just choking in the playoffs. I don't know. There's just so many negative vibes surrounding this Sixers team right now. You got Embiid's injury, and you got this whole debate about Harden right now going on. Where is his poor play, because he's playing really bad? Is his poor play due to just being playoff Harden, and he's just fading away like usual under pressure, or there's rumors out there and people that think that that hamstring injury that he dealt with all last year is still lingering and coming back, just like how Devin Booker's kind of dealt with this hamstring injuries over the last 2 years as well. Yeah, because I mean he played 2 games in the playoffs, if you remember, with the Nets last year with the grade 2 hamstring strain. So I mean, he was basically out. He was out. He was a body out there, but he was a shell of himself. And he's looking like that right now. So I just don't know. I mean, they need him today. They absolutely need him. I mean, Tobias Harris has basically put the team on his back with Embiid being a non-factor with his thumb injury on offense. And I mean, I just don't think with this Raptors team being so athletic and their length, Tobias, he can't do it on his own. And Maxey's struggling because they Nurse made adjustments, and I mentioned in the first look video that Van Vliet being out is actually a boost for the defense, the Raptors defense, and stopping Maxey because of the length, and they can close the gap with the unit they're running right now with guys like Precious and Barnes running the point. They can, those gaps can be filled much easier and quicker. And you've seen that. So since Van Vliet's been out, Maxey's offensive production has gone down, and Nurse has made those adjustments. I mean, but his offense is going to be needed. Can the Sixers try to find a way to get Maxey going? I assume they're going to try. They're going to have to, but I just don't know if I can trust Harden. I want to, because just of how important this game is. You don't want to go to Game 7. And I mean, just with Doc Rivers' history in the playoffs, especially in Harden too. But maybe so Danny Green is basically living in that corner as always, with that high percentage corner 3 shot, getting all his points from there and his 3 balls from there. I think you can go right back to his 2.5 3-point prop. Because those corner threes, I mean, it's the highest percentage 3 you could take on the court. And that's his forte. So I would probably say that. And then, but I mean, I still think the top rank's going to be Tobias, because he's probably going to play the most minutes. He's going to probably have the highest shot volume and be the key offensive piece, like we've seen these last 2 games since Embiid's injury announcement and Harden just fading away. And then I don't know what to do with Maxey. What do you think? Can you convince us otherwise?
So if Van Vliet played, would that change stuff for you? Because I'm gonna say that I know he's listed as doubtful or whatever, but
Yeah.
Nick Nurse has played this card before, right?
That's a great point, my friend. That's a great point.
He'd be doubtful. He would literally be
Yeah.
listed as out 20 minutes before the game, and he'll log 38 minutes. So Nick Nurse, you sneaky But let's
Yeah.
say if Van Vliet did play, that would theoretically probably go back to that lineup where they move Siakam to the 5, take out
Uh-huh.
Ken Burch, take out Achua. Then you have a little less bodies banging around with Embiid, and
Yeah.
maybe they're already buying the Embiid as not 100% anyway. So I don't have to put as much pressure on guarding him. Maybe it's a decoy, maybe it's a sleeping giant. But yeah, Embiid last 2 games, 15, 16 shot attempts, and then single-digit free throw attempts. There does seem to be a constant in his thumb injury to that, but it's also kind of correlated, or at least it aligns with the Kem Birch Achua
Huh? Uh-huh.
front court. So something to keep an eye on. I guess I don't know. I think Tobias Harris is probably going to be the guy that's most intriguing to me,
Mm-hmm.
simply because I don't know. I've been a sucker for guys whose fantasy points are lower than their minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were watching a lot of minutes out of Tobias Harris, 44 minutes in that last game. The game prior, he logged 40 minutes. So you're just asking to please be a point per minute kind of guy. It doesn't happen often for him throughout the season when everyone's on the court, but that's still a little bit of a gap. I have him for 39 fantasy points, for flirting with 40 fantasy points. So that's still it's 5 plus 6 is the kind of the mark for me when I'm looking at differences in my projections versus price picks. So I probably lean on that Tobias card. And then here's a fun fact from chat, and I didn't even realize this. So shout out to you guys for pointing this out. MV Gorgeous Yang has a fantasy point prop lower than his PRA. Josh, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, we've seen this before. I forget
Really?
who.
What is it,
Yeah.
like someone who turns the ball
Oh,
over 8 times?
yeah. No, it was McBuckets, McDermott. Yeah, this has happened in the past. Yep.
I mean, that's a mistake, right?
I don't know.
I mean, what is the justification of having some guy's projection at 7.5 PRA? Like the only way it gets to a lower fantasy score is with multiple turnovers, because rebounds, assists, they're not one fantasy point; it's just points, and they're
Yeah,
implying
turnovers.
him they're
Yeah.
implying him for basically 5.5, 6 points. So
And he
you
doesn't turn the ball over because he doesn't. He's not a ball handler. He doesn't dribble. I mean, he's the catch and shoot.
exactly
Yeah.
that's yeah. Unless there's I mean, he doesn't get peripherals for that matter. But I mean, that's just kind of low. He could. You're probably going to get there on points if anything. So it's either way. It's not something that like is a core play, but it is something that Yesterday we talked about Bobby Porter's double double versus their 10 rebounds and like what was it, 14, 15 points or something like that. Whenever their own projections kind of contradict each other, you could use their stuff against them. And I guess theoretically, there's a very low percent of the time where Yang is gonna clear his PRA and not clear his fantasy score unless he's playing a point guard for some reason, which I don't see happening. So shout out to MV for pointing that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tobias Harris is probably the bulk of my interest from
Yeah.
this far out, and
And then
maybe
are you gonna fade? Are you gonna fade Harden and Embiid?
So I have been taking unders on Embiid the
Right.
last two
Yeah. Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's catching up to us. At least that the lines are getting low enough that it's kind of a sweat. 20 fantasy points, 21, or excuse me, 20 real points, 21 real points the last 2 games. If he starts drawing fouls, we've seen him get 10, 15 free throws. So he really just needs to put 10 live rounds, 11 live rounds during the game in the bucket. So it's getting uncomfortable. But I had been taking some unders on him. Speaking of unders, let's look at underdog. Sometimes underdog chart is higher lines, and it looks like they are. So I guess if we are interested in unders on Embiid, maybe going to underdog is the move. So for instance, PrizePicks has 25.5 real points for Embiid, while underdog has him at 27.5. And then for PRA, they have Embiid at 42. PrizePicks has him at 40.5. So if we're interested in unders, the better value in a vacuum or is the underdog line. So maybe we'll take some unders on Joel Embiid over there on underdog and hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. And then Maxi. So not only with this new lineup and unit with Van Vliet out, he's also suffering because the first 2 games they were doubling. The Raptors were double teaming Harden every time he touched the ball. But now they just completely stopped double teaming him. They're not worried about him at all anymore. and so now they can slide in onto Maxey easier, and Maxey's not having more open gaps and holes to drive like he did in the first 2 games. So with that said, I mean, do we just fade him?
Yeah. The threes are interesting. I don't want to alert anybody because of the Orioles' fifth error of the day. Aaron Judge is at bat with the bases loaded. Aaron Judge is my favorite player, and grand slams are a beautiful thing. So there's a good chance that I lose my mind here in a second.
Yeah.
It's a 1-0 count, so hitters count right off the bat. And,
pants off if he gets it, man.
It's still Paul Fry on the bump. 5 errors, man. This Orioles defense has been hard on their pitchers today. Paul Fry's a lefty, by the way. The 1-0 pitch, low, but they give him the call. 1-1. I think the Danny Green 3-point prop, maybe even the Maxey 3-point prop, stuff that can fall tertiary. But if we were making a core list, a top list, what are the odds that you think Tobias Harris at 32 fantasy points gets into one of our favorite plays?
I'd put it up there.
Wild pitch, runner scores.
So
more unearned runs. This might be the most unearned runs in like the last 20 years.
I mean, is that surprising though with the Orioles?
Maybe. I don't know. So no grand slam, but he can still homer. So you said maybe you don't know that it would be a warm and fuzzy. Like I said, he hasn't been blowing the per minute out the water, but the minutes are there, and I just love an opportunity at 10 more minutes than fantasy points.
Yeah. And let me say this though, if you don't want to go with this full game fantasy, there is good reason to go with this first half, and that's because he's been playing the entire second quarter. I mean, he's playing crazy minutes. The most on anybody on the team right now with the current situation. But the first half in the second quarter, this is the only time in the game where he gets run with Embiid and Harden on the bench for about, it looks like around 4 minutes. So
swung on and drilled to deep left field. There it goes. See ya, Judge. 3-run shot. Couldn't have been a grand slam. So, oh man! All right, I'm sorry. Yes, I have the minute rotation up.
For the last game. Yeah.
Hold on, we got to tweet all rise, chat. We gotta do it.
Let's go. That was cool. We caught that live too. So the second. So pretty much every quarter except the second quarter, he plays alongside. All his minutes are alongside Harden and or Embiid, but the second quarter, you have the start of the second quarter. If this holds true, that's the only time where he gets minutes on the court by himself without Embiid and Harden.
Yeah. So what you're saying, first half is probably the more lucrative look because there's less overlap between the high usage guys. So, what does that give us on first half?
And he's playing like crazy minutes in the first half too. So.
Yeah, and he's cleared 16 in all but one game. All right, I can get behind that. I don't mind it. I like it.
Okay. And then, I mean, if you're worried about getting hooked or not getting the full run, I mean, you can go this full game fantasy too. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm walking away with from the Sixers, and like I said, the Danny Green's 3-point.
All right, let's switch over to the Raptors here.
Yeah.
I guess it's
1 second.
All right. He's gotta go take a ghost pepper here. Chat. Sorry, chat. I love my Yankees, man. I gotta get it in. Gotta sweat it. Took Judge in one lineup. Let's go, Josh. Well, Judge just came through for you. Colas, this is just me or do others hate taking unders from PrizePicks? Unders are definitely less fun, right? We're so I don't know, sweating guys to go overs is more fun. But I will say, since adding underdog as part of my daily repertoire, I've seen that underdog a lot of times will have different lines, even if sometimes they're lower, but a lot of times they're higher. So make sure if you are into betting unders, you're looking at both sides to get the better line. And today we mentioned some of those lines on Embiid are higher on underdogs. So it only makes more sense to get make that cushion a little bit bigger and get the under over there. Moving over to the Raptor side. So the responsible approach here is probably just to go forward expecting Van Vliet to be out. Season's on the line, though, and Nick Nurse has been Nick Nurse all year. So I guess keep that in the back of your mind and maybe don't lock these Raptors lines if you didn't trust that. But expecting him to be out, Josh, we can run back the rotations from the last couple games for the Raptors, and that's when they start the double bigs, the Birch and Siakam in the front court. Then you got OG, Gary Trent, and Scotty Barnes on the court. And then if Van Vliet was in, assuming that he would start, it'd probably kick Birch back to the bench, although there was a game where Scotty Barnes came off the bench. But I would assume they go full bore, can't lose this game mentality if that was the case. But right now we're just going to assume that Van Vliet is out. And if that's the case, one of the lines that I thought was a little low was the 5.5 assists for Pascal Siakam. We've seen him sustain a mid 20% assist rate throughout the season. Gary Trent has 17.5 point line for him, 2.5 threes. And we know Gary Trent, he'll chuck some threes, he'll get some steals. You look at the last couple games for Gary Trent, 6 and 10 3-pointer attempts, 9 the game prior, so 2.5 might be low enough to target. OG Anunoby, he's got a couple of low lines, 30 fantasy points. Another one of those Tobias Harris situations where Anunoby's live to play 40 minutes, so for him to have a fantasy point prop that it could be 10, if not more, points lower than his minute projection is intriguing. Same with Scotty Barnes, but we get it. There's no warm and fuzzies through and through there. And then Boucher, Chua, guys like that are on the board. We mentioned, we talked about how when Kem Birch starts, even going back to the regular season, he's not going to play the whole game, and very rarely, I would say rarely, but a lot of times he doesn't even start the second half. We see Achua thrown in there. Now, Birch did start the first and second half last game, but you look at the game before, it was Kem Birch in the first quarter, and that was it. It was a very Kevin Looney-esque game. Then we saw Thad Young, we saw Chris Boucher, we saw Scotty Barnes get run there. So if we're talking about the interest of betting unders, if something popped up for Kem Birch, I'd be somewhat intrigued in his unders, though it wouldn't be a lock or anything like that. But I guess let's focus on Siakam assist, and then talk to me about what's standing out for you. I think if I had to grab two and walk away now, I'm thinking Siakam assist and maybe Gary Trent to either fantasy score at 28, because I do think that's low, much lower than his minutes that'll play, or his threes. What do you think on those? And then talk to me about the Raptors.
I'm with you. I think pairing Siakam's assist with Trent's 3-point prop makes sense. Because Siakam, he's gonna dominate ball handling a lot, and he'll do his traditional drive to basket, spin move, B button, and then kick it out to someone at the 3-point line, whether it's OG in the corner or Trent at the top. So yeah, I mean, I really like Trent's 3-point prop, probably the most on the Raptors today. I think he's going to take 10 threes, with Van Vliet most likely being out. And I think the same holds true for OG. I think OG will take around 8 to 9 threes again today. They have his prop down to 2 now for his 3-point prop. It was at 2.5, so I mean he should make 2, so at least you'll get a push if he doesn't make that third one. But yeah, I mean he takes more, like I said, with those corner threes, he's gonna have a higher percentage 3-point shooting than Trent, but Trent is a better 3-point shooter this season. So I'm gonna rank it with you on Siakam's assist, and then you can always consider his fantasy too. And then I'll probably have that neck and neck with Trent's 3-point prop, and then OG's 3-point prop, and then you could go to fantasy for basically all these guys. But we saw what happened last time. The pricing was pretty spot on. because they got, I think, yeah, all three of these guys got hooked by less than one last game. But new game, new day. I think it's gonna change. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna mix and match all these Raptors guys in different cards because I want access to their minutes. And being an elimination game back in Jurassic Park, like you got Drake hyping him up. Yeah, I'm gonna go right back to it.
Yeah, hopefully they don't let us down like they did last time. By the way,
Yeah, I
on
know.
the season, when Siakam's on the court, Van Vliet not, Siakam has had a near 27% overall assist rate. So this is a team that does not pass the ball
Yeah,
and run plays,
yeah,
but five and
yeah.
a half is kind of low for Siakam. So
Yeah, it's quite frustrating because I mean, like I said, it's Siakam or Scotty Barnes just playing iso ball, where they're just gonna dribble it and try to find open lane, and if they don't, they'll eventually just kick it out. But it's like, yeah, there's no design plays a lot of the time. It's just iso drive by Siakam or Barnes. I did want to mention on before we moved on underdog. There's some interesting props for some of these guys, especially Siakam. I think they have some block and steal props for him. I saw last night. I don't know if they're
I,
still up
I'm
here.
looking at half a block, 2.5 turnovers.
Yes,
I don't see steals. I just see block, half a
block.
block.
That's the one. That's one I would be interested in. Because I mean, he'll have the block upside and just the amount of minutes that he's going to play. Um, yeah, I do like that one, and I also like his 2.5 turnovers for how much ball handling he's going to do. Um, I've been finding like majority of the time when I play guys with high minutes on underdog that play high minutes and I play their turnover props, they tend to hit. So I like that. I mean, and they have OG at 1.5 turnovers, but yeah, he's not going to handle the ball as much. But it's a lower prop to sweat. So I do like a lot of these props on underdog for the Raptors today.
Yeah. By the way, JS underscore vocals and Julian Martinez. Appreciate the sub. Also earlier today, JSZNS, Jordan Williams. All you guys appreciate the sub to the channel. If you're out there lurking, you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that sub button, man. We're trying to get to 8K, and it's about to get quiet down. It's just gonna be me in the dark alley talking baseball for like 2 months before you.
I'll join you
Yeah,
here
well,
and
I
there, man.
guess, but before the people come back for like football and then basketball again, it gets really quiet. It gets really low. So show some love while you can. But yeah, speaking of underdog, hey, they got Siakam at 6 assists. So again, it goes to show you a little bit more value on PrizePicks for that number. We're getting a little bit more aggressive on some of these lines here. But if you guys do want to grab maybe that half a block or any of these underdog props, you're not an underdog, but you have been playing on PrizePicks, like I said, I think it makes too much sense to have an account on both sites. And then if you just want to stretch that bankroll a little bit more, if you sign up with the link in the chat, they're gonna match your first deposit up to $100. So you would throw a $20 bill at them, bam, now you got $40. And a little different than underdog, or excuse me, than PrizePicks in the sense that you can 20x your cards up to 5 players. And then they also have a cool format called Rivals, where they'll pit a couple of pit 2 players against each other with a handicap. So Siakam versus Embiid. Siakam gets 2.5 points added to his total versus Embiid heads up. We got a PRA for Siakam versus Embiid with Siakam getting a 4.5 point boost, stuff like that. So a nice little way to make it a little different. And if maybe you're out there lurking from the DFS days, this is a cool way to kind of compare people and put another spin on prop bets and matchups and stuff like that. So make sure you're over there. If you do sign up using my code and you're in the free Discord, and if you're not in the free Discord, links in the description below. Message myself or Danielle with like a screenshot, and we'll add a little extra roll to your account. Just a little some. It's a cosmetic. It's a cosmetic. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, this person supported the community by signing up using his code. So a bunch of cool stuff. Anyway, let's get caught up on chat here, and then we'll move on to the next game. Jeremy says, that's wild. He really homered. He really did. I really wish he did it while the bases were loaded.
Yeah.
Shame on Paul Fry for robbing my dude of an RBI. And then we got this kid Marinacci out here playing 8-run baseball, and he gives up a double to Trey Mancini. What up, Sean? Says, hey, fellas, looking forward to Bucks Celtics, F Milwaukee, go Boston. Sincerely, a Bulls fan. Oh, no. Hey, that's the rite of passage, though. If your team got knocked out,
Yeah. Yep.
don't you have to root for the team that beat you, just so you can say, "Well, we lost to the champs." That's what Doc.
No.
That's what Doc did. You hear that Doc speech the other day? They were asking him about his history of blowing, 3-win leads or whatever, and he was like, something about this Pistons team that went to the finals or whatever, and he's just like making up excuses for each team that didn't quite get there. So I don't know. Doc is so you would say if the Warriors didn't lose to the Nuggets, you wouldn't be rooting for the Nuggets. I don't know.
No. I want to see him go down.
I guess that's fair too, but it doesn't just kind of like make your team look worse.
I'm not worried about how my team looks. I'm worried about getting revenge and getting that cathartic feeling.
Vocals super chatted $4.99. OG Anunoby over 17 points tonight. Harden under 25. Tobias Harris for at least 13.
All right, appreciate that $5 dono. Vocals says OG Anunoby over 17 points tonight. I'm fine with that as long as Van Vliet's out, right? Harden under 25. That's gonna make you sweat. Especially if
25.
20. That's what he said. 25.
25 points, or
I'm assuming in context is points for all these numbers.
wow, that's I don't know what, maybe that's on some book, because on PrizePick they have him at all the way down to 19.5, I think.
I'm looking at 8. I'm looking at 18.5.
Oh, it keeps going down. So last night it opened at 20.5. Then it went down to 19.5 this morning, and so now it's down to 18.5. Yeah, people are smashing under on him.
Okay. Underdog still has him at 20.5. So, I mean, yeah. So is this like alt line parlaying vocals? You're on a sports book?
Yeah.
That's cool if it is. Just wanted to know.
I would do that. Yeah. Under on 25.5 for him. Yeah.
Okay. And then he says Tobias Harris for at least 13. He's implied for 15.5. So all that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know where the F you're getting these lines. It sounds like alt lines.
I want some of that action.
Okay, it's FanDuel Justice Fair. So he's alt-lining the FanDuel parlays. That's cool. Yeah. No, those all work. I like that.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Ingram points, McCall Bridges? All right, we're going to get to those.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's move forward from this game.
Yep.
And let's talk about the Suns at the Pelicans. This game tips off kind of early for a Suns game.
Right.
It is a 214.5 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Phoenix Suns. So Devin Booker is out, but he could play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of Van Vliet.
Yeah, what's going on? I the last I saw last night when I was doing research, it said he could return game 6 or 7. Is that still where we're at?
I think it's still where we're at, but like Underdog tweeted that he's listed as, or he's unlikely to play. Like he's not officially out. So it's kind of a Van Vliet situation where all signs are pointing towards out, but it's not for sure.
Okay. I figured like if it got to game 7 desperation mode, they would save him for that. But yeah.
So the designation that fan went with is unlikely to play, and he also put doubtful on Van Vliet. So with that in mind, yeah, I don't think we force him back. And like you said, unless it gets to a must-win situation, you can't risk it. But I think they'll be all right. We'll see. With that said, we have Chris Paul props up 44 fantasy points for him, 3 free throws. They don't have 44 fantasy points. I'm dumb. DeAndre Ayton is at 36 fantasy points. That's kind of low. They have him at 1.5 free throws made, so he just really needs to draw 1 foul by J Val and hit both of them, right?
Yeah, but he's really bad. He's really bad free throw shooter.
We don't have many props here. We got Crowder at 22. We got McCall Bridges at 22 PRA, 28 fantasy points. I guess I've been on the more minutes than fantasy points train, so I wouldn't leave it off again here. So something to think about. But he's not somebody that's typically heavily involved. But 46 minutes in that last game in regulation. I mean, you're looking for half a fantasy point per minute at this point, almost. I would probably still lean on the Bridges play here, assuming that Booker
Yeah.
is officially out. I got him at
Yeah.
43 minutes. That's giving me 36 fantasy points. So that's only 8 fantasy points higher than their projection. And then what do I got for PRA on Bridges? I've got him at 26.3 PRA. So we'll just look for 26. They got him at 22. So I guess it's the PRA is live, and I think it's just a matter of being on the court for 44 minutes. So I would probably nominate those guys. I'm curious to see what you're thinking here. There is not many props for the Suns yet, but would you get down with some Bridges? And then Chris Paul, his assist prop is not on the board right now on PrizePicks. Looking at Underdog, let's see if they have an assist prop for him. They have him at 12, and I think that's par for the course for Chris Paul right now. And they also have Chris Paul at 36.5 PRA, and I feel like that's attackable. But I also like the fantasy points as well. They don't have PRA on PrizePicks either. So talk to me about the Suns here. Right now we got a more robust slate of options over on Underdog, but I still think we can get behind a couple of these clicks on PrizePicks.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they're holding out on Chris Paul props because, I mean, all the books have him live right now and available. On Pinnacle, he's at 11.5. I thought that's what PrizePicks would open him up at. I expected Underdog to be just slightly above that at 12. So if it's at 11.5 on PrizePicks, like it's like in the books, I could get down with that. I mean, his assist potential is always live. And then his fantasy points too. He's gonna have to carry the team again if Booker is gonna be out, which looks like that's gonna most likely be the case. So I would probably go, if I had to rank him, I probably want all of his potential because he does rack up steals. I'll probably just go back to his fantasy again, and then go with his assist. But yeah, I mean, he does, like you've called out beginning of the series, he's gonna rack up those free throws, and it's a close spread. So yeah, I mean, I would put that as a third tier for him. And then Bridges, like you said, I'm right there with you with the amount of minutes he's playing, and he's gonna be needed, especially with Cam Johnson continuing to struggle with his shooting and scoring. And then Ayton, they're he's probably the primary guy right now with D-Book out, so I can go with his points or fantasy again today, and I'm probably just gonna stick with those guys, and just so Chris Paul, then Ayton, and then Bridges.
Yeah, by the way, chat, I want to give Josh a little pat on the back. Mr. Game Film over here. He on the last Suns stream we did, he said that Torrey Craig, traffic cone on defense, no way he could stay out there. That's what he said, and he had this with Steven Adams, and that's exactly what happened. Torrey Craig did not check into that last game after seeing
it happen. Biyombo played alongside McGee and killed McGee props because people were all on McGee props because he was crushing his PRA.
I only have him for like a minute alongside McGee.
I thought when I was watching the game, I thought they played quite a bit of minutes together, and I was shocked when I saw them playing alongside each other. Or did Biyombo play alongside Ayton? I thought they were running a 2-center set at one point to match when Nance played with J-Val.
McGee had some overlap with Ayton, a lot of overlap with Ayton.
Okay, that I just know they changed it up and they went big to match when the Pelicans had their big unit out there.
Yeah. But yeah,
and Aaron Holiday got minutes. I called that too, and and it's not just because Cameron Payne got in foul trouble. He actually checked in before Cameron Payne got into serious foul trouble, and he played alongside Cameron Payne. I know I saw that live too. I think I think he made the right move. So.
What up, Reggie? Reggie says Embiid over 27.5 for me with a couple other selections. I think you can get a better line than 27.5 at this point. Heck, on what's PrizePicks is at 25.5. So if you like him to score over 27.5, I think you'd be smart about that and go take his. All right, we need to get this kid off the bump, man. He's about to blow the perfect day. Yeah, you're kind of like on an island there, Reggie. But I don't hate. I think obviously the shot volume could show up at any moment for Joel Embiid. All right, so I have DeAndre Ayton at 46 fantasy points, so I'm still getting a plus 10 differential. I mentioned I do like McCall Bridges still. Maybe last game's a little anomalic, but I still kind of still think the minutes will be there. Sometimes I'll just bank on minutes in a playoff situation. If you're going to get 44 of them, you don't even need your per minute doesn't need to be.
Yeah. What about this 1.5 block steal if you're going to play that many minutes too? You're the probability that you're going to run into an errant pass or catch a intercept a ball in the passing lane.
Yeah, especially for him, right? DPOY guy. He had 5 blocks of steals that last game. 31 real points, probably a little on the anomalic side as well.
Yeah.
But at 15, I'm just 15 real points, 4 or 5 rebounds, 1 to 3 assists, and 3 or 4 stocks is not a crazy stat line for Bridges. So I don't hate the blocks and steal call. But I think the fantasy is still low enough that I could target that versus his minutes.
Yeah.
But all that's live. Reggie, appreciate that sub. Fume, I appreciate that sub. Welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a good day. Crowder foul trouble. Siakam points 23.5 to 22. They moved Siakam down a bucket or a 1 point. Thoughts on Joel's 11.5 rebounds? I don't mind. I'm still worried about the thumb issue. If anything, I'm looking for the highest PRA line on Joel, and I'm trying to take the under. But I wouldn't. That's kind of like right where it should be. If they go a little bit smaller, like if Van Vliet surprise played and they end up with just Siakam and not 2 bigs, then maybe I like it a little bit more. But Embiid averages about 11.5 on the season, so I feel like that's appropriately priced. And this is a slow pace, grindy game against a Raptors team that's going to play a little hungry. So that's not like anything that I think is mispriced. So it's more of if you like the over, take the over. If you like the under, take the under. But I don't have any action on that line at all. Or I won't have any action on that line. Go back to the Suns here. Why are all lines on NBA lower than usual? Are they? I think it's reactive to. This is what a lot of these games are in their 5th or 6th run back here, so you kind of know what you're going to get or what's likely to happen. So it's just trying to catch up or respond to what the results have been. And remember, lines aren't necessarily priced to the projection, more so priced to trying to sucker people to make some action here. So competitive lines to get you guys to like it. So how many times we look at a line, man, that line's too low, I gotta jam the over. Well regression to the mean, right? Yeah. Fume says Jay Crowder over 9 points he's hitting every single time on the road. He's better on the road than he is at home. Man, be careful with those. That's a gambler stat right there. If Game Johnson has better shooting than he goes over 22 fantasy score, I can get behind that. Gun, make sure Josh buys the Grayson Allen shirt.
I will. I'm a man of my word.
They can't be that expensive.
I'm not gonna get a jersey.
Just a shirt.
First of all, I don't wear jerseys. I'm not gonna wear some dude's name on my back. I'll find a funny shirt if I can.
Yeah. What up, Rick? Been snapping more underdog, my dude. I got PrizePicks in the name, bro. I got PrizePicks on the. I can't. It's kind of weird. Like I can't serve 2 masters, but we are looking at two.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's just looking at underdog real quick for this game. DeAndre Ayton's at 20.5 real points, 10 rebounds. Bridges at 1.5 threes, 16.5 real points. They don't have like PRA for Bridges, which that makes me like the PrizePicks side a little bit more. And then, like I said, they do have Chris Paul at 12 assists. That's Chris Paul. They probably get between 12 and 14 assists. Jay Crowder 14.5 PR. Jay Crowder 9.5 points. Javal McGee has a half a block prop, and that's all that man does for a living, right? Is to go out there and get blocks. So depending on what you think his
Not
minutes
lately,
will
but
be,
yeah.
I guess you're right. Not lately. So I mean that is kind of crazy low. He averages a block per game on the season, and his blocks per 36. It's got to be one of the most historic of all time. So that's a fun bet. All right, let's jump on to the other side here because as always we're running over. I will say it's a little bit more forgivable to run over today because baseball is done
cool.
basically. So
Cool.
Pelicans. Let's pull up the Pelicans here. All right, so the Pelicans are 2.5 point home dogs here. As long as Devin Booker's out, I think their chances to stay competitive is that much stronger. And I think Booker's going to be out. He's unlikely to play. It's the designation. So with that said, we expect this game to stay a little bit more competitive like it has been the last couple of games. And CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, these are the guys that are predictably unpredictable. And even when you slap a taco on it, it doesn't get much better. And we saw that in that last outing where Ingram essentially hooked most of his props there. So do you have a read today on Ingram versus McCollum? I know you were worried about Ingram. What was a hamstring injury or he was injured?
Well, he got pretty banged up. He had multiple injuries in that game. I mean, nothing like super serious, but I think the most serious one that could potentially be a problem. He towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, he hurt his finger pretty bad and on his right hand, his shooting hand, and you could tell that it was affecting him. And he was missing all his shots there towards the end, and he was kind of flexing it. I have no idea. I mean, obviously, we're 2 days removed from that. I have no idea where we stand on that injury, if it's going to bother him, or if he's wearing any kind of brace on it or splint or anything like that. But it's something you could consider, especially on underdog. I mean, they have him at 25.5 points. Still, I think. Let me double check that. Make sure I'm right. Yeah, still 25.5, and he's 23.5 on PrizePicks. So I might on underdog go with his under there, just with that theory, and also the Suns continuing to try to keep him out of that mid-range lane and double team him, which they did a lot in that game too. But he still got there because or got close because of his free throw shooting. So yeah, his free throw shooting is always live, especially at home. But let's say his finger is really bothering him, then maybe his 5 assists would be the way to go too. If he's just realized he can't get it done with his outside shooting or his mid range, and he looks to dish it more. But it's always risky because you got guys like McCollum, Jose, and J-Val who will initiate the offense and play make too. So I'm on PrizePick, since they bumped he did open at 25.5 points, since they bumped it all the way down to 23.5, a whole bucket. I'm probably just gonna fade him for the most part on PrizePicks, but I will take that underdog under. And then for McCollum, I mean, yeah, he's got to show up today. He played really bad, shooting wise in that last game. But I mean, shooters are gonna shoot, and they you got to take every game with context, and it's a new game. And so people are smashing under on his points. So he opened at 23, his usual 23.5, and he went down to 22.5, and now he's down to 21.5 on PrizePicks. So I might consider that. Because the shot volume is going to be there. He's at home. Maybe shoots a little bit better with the crowd. Yeah, they need him. They need him today, big time. And then I want to get some action on Jose, since this potentially could be the last Jose game we're going to get this year. I mean, this guy, he plays with so much heart. I mean, I'm starting to really enjoy watching him, become a fan. So let's figure out our favorite prop for him. When Ingram is off the court and it's him and McCollum out there, he does take a lot of 3-point attempts, and he's kind of building this chemistry with Larry Nance, and Larry Nance tends to find him open on the 3-point line. I mean, he's just got to make 1 3, right? So how many threes did he take last game? I know he took quite a bit.
Alvarado?
Yeah.
Or now we some Alvarado. Living by the
Yeah,
motto.
he took 6. Yeah, he was second in 3-point attempts to McCollum. Yeah, he went 2 of 6. I mean, if he takes, we just need him to take probably what, like 4. I would feel comfortable with for him to make 1.
Yeah, but you're asking him to take an amount that he's only taken more than once, and that was in the most recent game. So,
Yeah, but I think, I mean, in the most recent game, he played more minutes too, right?
not really. I mean, 2.
2 more minutes, yeah. Okay. I mean, we saw him at home. He feeds it off the crowd. He gets them hyped up, and he starts going off. Like, should we just go with this steal block?
So I was thinking fantasy points at 12.
Yeah. No, that was on my list too. But I was trying to look at these other lower lines for him. But the block steal, I mean, yeah.
You need 2. I mean, that's what he does. But again, we are. Yeah, I think it's live. I think I'd just rather take the fantasy score at 12. But I wouldn't push back on any of that. Like, if you want to take 1-3, sure. Especially if we game script him to play from behind, which we are. And then blocks, steals, that's what he's known for, right? A little scrappy on defense, sure. I would probably stay away from the PRA. I'm thinking fantasy points. I have him right now projected at 19.5 fantasy points. And I would say even if you're on Alvarado and it's looking bad at half, maybe don't overreact, because he tends to play the entire fourth quarter and close out, especially when they need a boost and the game's a little scrappy, and that's what we've seen. So expect a lot of second quarter run and a lot of a closing run. My vote would be fantasy points, but I'm cool with whatever you decide.
Okay, yeah, let's go fantasy 1, and then I'm gonna go 3.2.
Okay.
I'm gonna sweat it. And then J-Val, what do you want to do? You want to go rebounds? He's been just destroying him on the glass.
Yeah, 12
Why
and
do
a
you want
half.
to go fantasy?
Well, let's see, 12 and a half rebounds for J-Val. Has he been losing out on fourth quarter run because of small ball? No, he hasn't. He played that last fourth quarter. I think the rebounds are pretty live for him. Fantasy wise, I do have him at 42 fantasy points, and that is 6 points higher than their projection. Usually 6 is about the average gap between theirs and mine. Mine's kind of, my algorithm's written more for a DFS upside lean. So I guess the rebounds are a little bit more attainable. Like, if he's gonna get to 40 fantasy points, he probably has 14 rebounds, stuff like that. So I don't mind that. So yeah, I'll take the rebounds and then second fantasy points.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Yep.
Not on Herb. Don't you do it. Not on Herb. 20 fantasy points on Herb Jones. I got him at 33. That's a gap. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think yeah, both him and Jose really fed off the Pelicans crowd that last game. That last home game they played. Yeah, it's do or die game, so.
Okay. Probably staying away from Jackson Hayes. Now, Hayes is an interesting case here because
He's a wild card. His rotation.
Yeah, right. And his constant has been he is completely losing out on fourth quarter run. Did not touch the court in the fourth quarter last game. Did not play in the fourth quarter of the game prior. Also did not play in the fourth quarter or the second half prior. I think he got injured in the second quarter. So when they go small and they need the energy boost out there, they're going Alvarado. So what I was thinking in that last stream was the under on his fantasy points, but they got his full game fantasy points at 10. So I imagine in the first half would be at 5, and that's a hard sweat, man. A block and a bucket. That is whoo boy. So I probably stay away from that, though. Though it is really, really low. And then they have Larry Nance props up as well, 17 fantasy points on him. I have Larry Nance for about 19, so that's pretty linear. I don't want to take any action on that. Devontae Graham, the homie, 8 fantasy points. All those are kind of obscure dart throws. I think we're cool with the J-Val rebounds, the Alvarado. Like I said, I'm on fantasy, but Alvarado something. It's the Ingram versus McCollum sweepstakes that seems to be the headache of the night anytime these two hit the court together, and this was true during the regular season as well. And there was times where they both scored 25 real points and stuff like that. But it just seems like they mix games, right? The hot hand, one guy's the facilitator, one guy's not. Today their lines are pretty linear, with Ingram listed at 5 assists, with McCollum listed at 5 assists. You thinking the threes is the move here? 2.5 threes on McCollum, or 1.5 on Ingram, or are we just kind of like not coring these guys and whatever happens?
I'm more hesitant on Ingram just because I don't know what's up with his finger injury and if it's serious or not. Since it's on his shooting hand, really makes me nervous for prop betting. I would get it for DFS, but I would want to see how he's shooting in warm-ups and if he has that any kind of wrap or splint on his finger. But yeah, McCollum, I mean, he's gonna lead the team in 3-point attempts like he has all series. So hopefully, yeah, he can just shoot better this go around. But I think his real points is pretty low at 21.5. Like, so I would say either his 21.5 or his 3-point prop.
All right. Joe says, "Does Gun golf?" No, Gun does not golf. Or is it physically or fantasy? I don't know what the context of that question was. But no, I've putt golfed, if that counts. I don't think it does, but anyway. So that's what we're dealing with on that game. You ready for the main event tonight? Is there any final talking points?
Let me double check. On Underdog, I think we went over those. They have a 1.5 steal for Herb. I don't think we have any props like that for him on. No, we don't on PrizePick. But I wish it included the blocks because he does make some pretty ridiculous blocks as well. Yeah, I don't see any major differences. The only major difference I see on Underdog is the Ingram 25.5 versus the. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, and they have McCollum at 24.5 on Underdog, and he is 21.5 on PrizePick. So that's a whole 3-point difference. Pretty big.
Pretty noteworthy. Blas says, "Any route would you like an Underdog?" So far, nothing that was like screaming at me. Maybe Trent threes over Tobias Harris could be interesting. I would really like to know that Van Vliet is for sure out because I do not trust Nick Nurse. Chris Paul plus 3.5 points for some McCollum. Nah, do we have any? Man, so far the board's pretty appropriate. They have Herb Jones plus 10.5 assists versus Chris Paul. That's interesting. But no, so far from what I'm seeing, it looks pretty appropriately priced. Maybe Scotty Barnes. Maybe I'll take Harden points and assists over Scotty Barnes, but nothing that I think is an egregious mismatch or misprice. I do kind of like the thought of I think there's an above. How often do you think Siakam just straight up has more PRA than Embiid point blank today? Like, you run this game 100 times.
And Embiid is still struggling with the injury, or
jacked up finger, and Siakam without Van Vliet, 44 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like a decent amount of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna rack up the boards, and yeah, he should get the assist with Van Vliet out. So
he had 33. He had about 40 PRA last game. He had over 40 the game prior. Embiid, on the other hand, looking at his PRA, 20, 34. So he's beaten him straight up in PRA the last 2 games. And that was consistent with the thumb injury. Just straight up, there's a good chance Siakam without Van Vliet beats Embiid in PRA. You're getting a plus 4.5 on the Siakam side. So maybe that's one I would take.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Let's get to the main event. For JD says Aitner, J-Val at center on FanDuel tournaments. I just say what the projection says. I got J-Val 42 fantasy points on 32 minutes. I got Ayton at 46 on 35. So I'm getting more raw points out of Ayton in the projection, and that's assuming Devin Booker's out. Things get a little more blurry if Booker does end up playing. Putt, come on, don't be hating on putt. I don't want to hate. People that love golf. But you put PGA golfers in a putt course, I'm watching that. Okay, I don't really tune into golf though. It is what it is. But I don't hate golf. I got love for golf. I don't do it or watch it. But I think that's like there comes a point in every man's life where you wake up and all of a sudden you're interested in golf. And for some reason I have a whole thing of thumbtacks on my desk and it just fell. So we almost got ourselves a ECW match going on. Yeah. Where's my cat? All right, main event tonight, Mavericks at the Utah Jazz. We got 210 total in favor of the home team, Utah Jazz. The Jazz favored by a hook. What the hook gonna be? See, I don't need no hook on this B because somebody read the script to a B movie. So Rudy Gobert got stung by a bee. It looks like right here in his left eye. He said it'd be your own bee sometime. I first of all, how does that happen?
Yeah.
How?
Is he saying that he like harvests bees and he's a beekeeper?
I don't understand. I literally I've been stung by bees a couple times. You know, I'm not like some expert on bee stings, but it's like a spot where I'm not paying attention. Like I'm gonna see a bee on my eye, bro. That just did my fell asleep with a. I don't know. Unless he was sleeping on a hammock or something, I don't understand it. I do not understand how you get stung on the eyeball by a bee. Yeah. It literally doesn't make sense to me. So. But there's a lot about Rudy Gobert that doesn't make sense. So with that said,
right.
We'll see if the swelling goes down later, if it gets worse. Rudy Gobert stung by a bee. With that said, Utah, man, they're only half a point home favorite. Luka and the Mavs have come correct, and Luka has turned into a beast, taking over the series and looking to get a dub here in Utah. So we'll start with the Mav side of things, right? Starting with Luka Doncic. He has a 3.5 3-point prop, 7 assists, which feels low, but he hasn't eclipsed that in the last couple games. 47.5 PRA, 6 free throws, which is something he has hit, or he hit in that last game. 52 fantasy points versus what I have projected. I have him at 60, so I'm a little leaning on the over here. I think we talk about these studs in the playoffs, the Giannis's, the Embiid, the Lukas, the Jokic. All these guys are going to be priced up pretty appropriately. So I don't know that that's where we're getting our edge. We're just kind of sweating them because we like to sweat them. I think we get some better lines on some of these secondary, supplementary guys. And I know Jalen Brunson was somebody that you were on this morning. They got him at 1.5 threes. They got him at 32 fantasy points. I currently have Brunson at 38 fantasy points. And then what was it you were on? Was it free throws?
Free throws, yeah. He's being like a pest to the Jazz in this game, especially Royce O'Neal, who's been chasing him around the court. Even with Luka back these last 2 games, he's still racking up free throws. He's doing this move where
hold on. You're at home, not at the lab, right?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Okay, I didn't know if like one of your lab rats just like
got out.
I heard it was. No,
that was the little one, man.
Maybe handle. I don't know, Godzilla before it gets before we have to quarantine and nuke your building.
No, but Brunson, he's getting to the basket easily, burning by, and he's going left every time, and they still can't stop him. But yeah, he's doing this move. He's basically like getting to the basket, and then he's putting his back and backing up on the defender, like Royce O'Neal, and drawing fouls like that pretty frequently. So yeah, I think with him, you probably want some access to these low lines for him, like his 3.5 free throws, and then you could even consider his 3 assists. That's gonna be a little more random. I mean, it's just you're hoping like if they're rotating the ball between him and Luca, and then he gets it to the corner to a guy like Finney or whoever's on that wing spot, like Maxi for the 3 ball. But it's still a pretty low line. So I'm still gonna go with his 3.5 free throws just with that theory and being a close spread. Maybe they hold like a 2-point, 3-point lead at the last minute and they want him to get fouled because you don't want Luka getting fouled. He's not the best free throw shooter, that's for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with that. And then Luka, with this being such a close spread, and if Vegas holds true, I mean, he's just such a ball hog and dominates. I mean, usage so much. And if he gets a full game run in a close game, even if it's not a high implied total, I mean, isn't that fantasy total really tempting? Don't you want to click on it?
For Luka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him for 60. Usually a close Luka game, you see him get 60 plus. Yeah. By the way, Van Vliet is officially ruled out.
Okay.
So
official.
Underdog NBA reporting Van Vliet ruled out.
All right. Yeah, I 52, man. I don't know.
It's absolutely low, yeah, for sure.
But I mean, yeah, the Jazz do tighten the screws and the defense a little bit more at home, but I mean, not so much the case this season. They've really struggled.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, so I was all about Jazz at home. I even had them blowing out the Mavs, and the Mavs, kind of stunned them. I can't call it. This is like the greatest regular season team of all time. Not, figuratively, not. Woj bomb.
I think that's the case every season.
Hold on. Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, says Devin Booker is expected to play tonight versus the Pelicans in Game 6. He's expected to test the ligament in pregame warmups, and assuming all goes well, he'll be back on the floor after missing the past 3 games. We taking Ayton unders real fast. His point unders maybe.
Oh man. Yeah,
it changes so much.
It changes so much because we have no idea. I mean, with soft tissue injuries, like it could flare up. He could get out there and be like, no, I can't do it. He could play like 5 minutes and be done. Or he's just like playing 60% speed, game speed, and like we saw Harden do last year in the playoffs with his hamstring injury. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say that CP3's assist is probably still alive, and Bridges' fantasy points, no matter what.
And what about we take some unders on Cameron Johnson?
Well, he would just run the second unit now, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Jay Crowder. All right, let's go. Let's do a quick query here.
Yeah.
See what we were dealing with. Sorry, chat, to get us off the rails, but this is kind of big. So let's see what we had been enjoying with Ayton and Chris Paul on the court, Devin Booker off the court. And I think Ayton is the guy I'm looking at to maybe look to get less scoring. Chris Paul, a 44% assist rate, so that's gonna keep his assist prop live on both sites. Ayton's at a 22% usage rate, and then let's go put Devin Booker back on the court, and we know Devin Booker will probably lead the team in usage, and Chris Paul will still have that high assist rate. And Ayton goes down to 21% usage, about a point per minute. So I would say Ayton's real points become a little bit more flimsy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. 100%. He's thrived with D-Book being out for sure.
All right, not impossible for him to drop 20. He did drop 20 in Game 1, but certainly this skews a lot.
Yeah, we just don't know what to expect from D-Book, right? I mean, I have no idea.
Well, cool. Don't you love breaking down a game and then it's useless?
Well, I mean, no,
I'm kidding.
I think I think all the other props we broke down are still in play. I mean, due to just like we only have 3 games to work with. But yeah, I would say the only one that's now fringe and teetering on fade or under is, yeah, like you said, Aiton.
Bridges goes down to a 15% usage rate. Jay Crowder 13%. So we had a buddy in chat that was really liking his 9 points on the row. Might become a little tougher here. So yeah, I guess we'll keep an eye on it. It looks like they did yank props on at least on both sides here. So we'll see what they come back as. And then with that said, I mean a Devin Booker Phoenix Suns team is arguably the best team in basketball, right? So this spread might move. And then we can kind of game script maybe some more threes from the Pelican side. And maybe we do need to look at some of that. So, man, that is a huge – I mean, Devin Booker could be 20, 30 real points and, definitely spreads things out. So, huge news out of Woj. Assuming that he does play – I don't see anything about a minute restriction or anything like that. I think it's if he can go, he's going to go.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know we don't have the props, but I mean, would your favorite prop of his be his 3-point prop? Since, if you're hampered at all and you're not playing full game speed, you're probably just going to catch and shoot 3 ball.
Yeah. What would you be looking for? 3.5?
Yeah. No more. Yeah, no more than 4. Yeah.
All right. So if it comes out 3.5, I'll take it. I agree with that. We might see a little bit more Klay Thompson-esque Devin Booker than anything. So, yeah. And then if his real point prop's probably going to be 25.5 at least, right? All right.
Yeah, I mean, with a grade 1 hamstring, what I do know from it is it's not like you can damage it even more. So it's more of a pain tolerance. So if the pain is really bothering him, then it could throw a shot off. That's what I'm just saying. It's just risky. I just don't know what to expect.
Yep. Trying to predict the unpredictable. My boy Vince said, I might fade all the Suns for my mental health.
Hey, I don't blame you, man.
Josh, I want to... One of these shows, I need to just eat some peppers. Just because I don't... Do you drink milk with them?
Nah.
No, you just let that in there, huh?
Yeah.
That's insane. All right, you talk.
Well, first of all, I don't like milk. Oh, man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I like the almond milk more.
Almond milk. I'll use that for like cereal. Yeah, for sure.
They got Donovan Mitchell at 2.5 threes, 40 fantasy points.
Oh yeah. Speaking of another hamstring injury, and unknowns, what do we do with him, man? It looked bad when he left that game.
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't want to play one on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would say, the morale was down in the fourth quarter. The starters were all benched, so it could be a little bit of everything. He got
helped off the court. I saw I had the sideline camera view with the backboard camera, and the assistant trainer helped him to the locker room, and he didn't return. So I was really surprised that he's even playing this game. It could just be like he knows his do or die, and he goes out there and then realizes, oh man, I can't do it, and plays like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think in honor of Vince going for our mental health capacity here, I think my move is I'm not gonna bet anything on Donovan Mitchell.
No unders?
I don't got it like that, man. I don't want to sweat unders on because the unders are kind of low for Donovan Mitchell. 40?
Yeah, it's true.
Come on.
It's down to 24.5 points on a PrizePick, 25.5 on underdog, and he's usually teetering around 27, 28.
So I was thinking I'll probably stay away from that. The constant though, something that we were on last game, and now even if we're worried about Donovan Mitchell, it's Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson has experienced more run in the last couple of games. Some of it at the expense of Mike Conley. We saw that in the third quarter of that game. And now, if there is a question, if Donovan Mitchell has a flat tire and he's still trying to drive, hey, Clarkson might have to be that guy that picks up some of the slack here. So we do have a prop on. We have some props for Clarkson. He's got a 15.5 real point prop, 2 assist prop, 22.5 PRA, and 24 fantasy points as his prop. Something he's eclipsed in 3 of the last 4 games for them. A lot of stuff trending his way, and on top of all that, we've liked to chop it in half too, right? The first half Clarkson fantasy has been nice because of that run that he's getting. If we look at this rotation in the second quarter, he's getting a decent chunk of minutes. In the last game, he closed the first quarter, opened the second quarter without Donovan Mitchell. And there was a stretch without Mike Conley as well, and that was something that we saw in the game prior. So I do like the thought of most of these Jordan Clarkson props. I would say it feels safe enough now we can take the full game on Clarkson, but the first half, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's still alive too, so that might end up being one of the core props for us. Would you agree with that? And then what are we thinking about the Jazz here? If we got a hampered Donovan Mitchell, a beasting eyeball Rudy Gobert, it's what is happening in this slate, man. NBA is beautiful, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the slate of unknowns for sure. Gosh, it's either going to go really bad or really good tonight. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, I was this morning thinking about it and waking up, I was like, I want to click under on Mitchell, but, talking with you on this and going through it, I think you're right. I think I'm just going to fade all of his props. But I am willing to risk the idea that he is hampered, limited, or maybe doesn't even get full run. And instead of taking the under on maybe going and hedging and saying, okay, maybe guys like Gobert, who will benefit if Mitchell's not out there or limited, because we know that Mitchell won't get him the ball and will eat up all the usage. So, I mean, Gobert's all the way down to 13.5 points, 27.5 PRA. Yeah, I could consider that with that game theory. And then, like you already said, Clarkson is the immediate one to benefit from a limited Mitchell, and he's already thriving and getting more minutes. So I'm right there with you. I think that's a core play, the 24 fantasy point. And you can consider his first half too, because he does get most of his minutes are in the first half. But yeah, I mean, he's been earning more run in the second half too. So. And then Bogdan. Bojan. He was thriving in these games when Luka was out. And now that Luka's back, he's been like the primary guy trying to chase him around, follow him, and I think he's just exerting too much energy on defense trying to handle Luka, and I think that's just taking a toll on his offensive production. So. I might just fade him as well. And Conley, I don't trust. So yeah, I think Clarkson would be it, and then maybe Fringe. Fringe would be Gobert, B-man.
B-man.
And then we kind of skipped over real quick before we leave the game. The Mavs. There was 2 more I wanted to touch on. Reggie Bullock is just like same rationale and process that I went over with Danny Green. He's gonna get majority of his shots from the wing. That corner 3, he's been consistently with the getting 3 threes a game. So he could pull that slot machine lever again today. And then Finney Smith, I mean, even with Luka back, I mean, he's gonna keep playing his normal 40 plus minutes. With a guy playing that many minutes, you could consider his PRA, or I don't know, with Luka being out there and being a ball hog. I'm considering his 4.5 rebounds, just for the amount of minutes he's going to play, and he's pretty good on the glass. And I need to look into why is Reggie Bullock having these spike rebound games? He's not traditionally known for that.
Let's see. Let's look at the court here. Rebounds, 1 in the second quarter. Rebounds, 1 in the first quarter. Rebounds, 5. He had 5 rebounds in the third quarter. Half of that run was without Rudy Gobert, so that's a big plus. Whiteside was there for a little bit, but looks like in a bit of the third quarter, the Jazz went a little bit smaller. There was some Daniel House, some Pascal, so a little bit smaller. Maybe that helped. And then how many games were we looking at?
I mean, this whole series, he's he's surpassed like 5+ boards.
Yeah, I don't know. Rebounds can be a little bit fluky, especially this slow pace of a game, right? Oh, I hate to take a shot on wing player rebounds, but
but I mean, with such a low implied total, there's gonna be so many missed shots to go around. I feel like.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, that's what we got there. I guess we can rank a couple of plays. I do want to ask, or at least mention that, if Gobert has this little bee sting in his eye, and I don't know if the man's allergic, I don't know if it's, I imagine bee stings the day of will get worse before they get better. And I can't believe I'm even talking about this. It just feels so. I'm a man of like metrics and analytics and stuff, and I'm like, oh, he's got a bee sting on his eye. Hassan Whiteside has a fantasy point prop of 13. He's eclipsed this in all but one of the games so far this series. Was that the game he got ejected? Did he get ejected, or maybe I'm making that up?
Yeah, he did.
All right, so as long as he doesn't get ejected, he's been pretty safe to hit this prop. And if Gobert is not 100%, and I gotta be honest, it doesn't look so good, huh?
Yeah.
That's an eye joke. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Look, yeah.
Maybe 13 fantasy points on Hassan Whiteside.
Are you? Yeah, but are you worried about
Yes.
What?
I don't know what you're gonna say, but worried and Whiteside go hand to hand. Yes.
I mean, we saw some games in the series. I know because we, talking with Jake, who's a huge jazz fan in the group. Whiteside was losing some run to Pascal when the Jazz needed offense production, and they were going smaller. Is that not a concern at all?
I mean, how much run are we talking? Because the last two games looks like Whiteside.
I want to say it was definitely for sure one of the games we watched together.
Let's see.
On live chat.
Pascal played a couple of minutes in the third quarter, 3 games back. Pascal 2 minutes, 2 games back, and then Pascal was part of the mop-up squad.
Okay.
And then a couple minutes in the actual game. So, yeah, he might represent a couple minutes, but I don't know that. But
I mean, how many minutes? How many minutes? Like, what is Whiteside averaging? Like 12 minutes?
Yeah, 12, 13 minutes.
That's so that two or 3 minutes is relative to how many total he's playing. That's still something to think about, I guess. But I mean, it's Whiteside. He can get done.
Okay. Well then, let's come up with a small list here. Let's come up with maybe 4 or 5 of our favorite picks. Then we'll get the class out of here. So remembering back, apparently I didn't take any notes. I'm thinking something Jordan Clarkson is going to make the top for us.
Yeah, let's do full game 24 fantasy point, and then first half too. 24. If you want a smaller split.
Yeah, first. Okay, so I'll do that. Probably gonna avoid.
I wrote everything down that we talked about.
Well, let's give the high confidence one, and then we'll share the bomb detector or the prop detector with the channel members in the free Discord. If you guys are not in the free Discord and you are a channel member, you can link your Discord account with your YouTube account, and then you'll open up access to this channel. So it's like what, $5 a month, something like that, and then we'll list them all. But let's just list a couple of some of the higher confidence ones.
Okay.
So Clarkson, I think, is easily on that list. What you got?
Go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say Bridges, but I don't think that's gonna be available for a minute. So
yeah. I was gonna say definitely mix and match of the Raptors props. But if I had to rank it, I would say Gary Trent's 2.5, 3, and then I'm probably
Siakam assists, right? 5.5.
Yeah, get the positive correlation there. I was gonna say, and then I'm gonna go with our boy Luka. He gets inspired by Jokic last night goes off
And loses?
Uh,
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, is 52 fantasy points, or second tier would be 9 rebounds. He's always active on the glass and should play a full run.
Okay. And then.
Well, I hope he does. I hope we don't see Mitchell like check out and then the game turns ugly. But actually, maybe Mitchell being out's a good thing for the Jazz. I don't know.
Maybe. All right, so there's a few. Chat. I also like some unders on Underdog, such as the Embiid unders. If you guys are out of Underdog, you play on PrizePicks. There's no reason not to play on both sites. Shop your lines just like you would a sports book. It's already kind of hard to parlay, and win at a high clip as it is. So you might as well be getting the best lines that you can attack. And bing bong. Let's go, MV. Welcome to the Baller. Don't forget to link your Discord with your YouTube. Hey, Max Reese, I appreciate that sub. But yeah, if you're on PrizePicks, you should be on Underdog as well. It's a very similar style of play. You can up to 20x, and a lot of lines are similar, but also you get some better, even if it's just 2 or 3 points, whether it be fantasy points or PRA. You might as well be shopping the best lines for what you like. So if you do sign up using the link in the chat, they'll double your first deposit up to $100. So you get a free $100 if you want to max it out. You can get a free $20 if you want to max, if you want to throw 20 at it. None of that slow drip, none of that play through it 8 times and deposit with crypto, none of that nonsense, man. Get in there, have some fun with it, and then if you do it, hit me or Daniel up on the Discord. With a screenshot, we'll give you a special roll here. So, a couple of our favorites. Jordan Clarkson, 24 fantasy points first half as well. Gary Trent, 2.5 threes. Siakam, 5.5 assists. Luka, something. And then I kind of liked, on Underdog, I liked the Siakam plus 4.5 PRA versus Embiid. So, we'll do that. We'll wrap it up. I'm going to hang out in the rundfs.com VIP Discord for a little bit, talking up shop, making our picks and stuff like that. No main baseball slate tonight, so it's gonna be a pretty it's gonna be more of an NBA centric chat. But I also feel like we're gonna have some draft, NFL draft discussion going on. But whatever it is you want to talk about, you grab a mic, you talk up with us. Go to rundfs.com, get yourself signed up. Joseph says, what are your hobbies? I like to watch sports a lot, especially baseball. And that's basically it. I play some video games too. What up, Chill Robots? Hope you're doing all right. Suaveless, Bookers Ago, yup. ECW, yup. Hit that like button on your way out. Only 56 likes, man. They don't ever just like unless they get something in return, you know? That hurts. Not so much here, but like right here.
Yeah.
Chat. Yeah. Chat, I appreciate you making part of our day be part of your day, man. Tell somebody out there that you love them, because I love you. Good luck out there tonight. God bless. Go win some money. Peace.
All right, I'm going to update the list.
All right, bro.
And I'm sharing it with the YouTube members?
Yeah, YouTube members and the free Discord, yep.
All right, cool, man. I'll catch you later.